And a grieved mother of 2 children, Ramona was mourning over the tragic passing of her husband and struggling to keep it together with her household, financially crippled to a point that there was no electricity running in her new abode. One fine day, while Ramona herself, debilitated with one limb in a cast from the horrific traffic accident that claimed her husband's life, was making sure her kids were fed while begrudgingly dealing with bills and disciplined, and worse still, dog's vomit. Then in the light of the day, a woman in all black and face covered up in a black veil would be sitting in their massive farmyard, scaring the teenage son and certainly the adolescent daughter, triggering Ramona to challenge this ominous looking woman. This eerie looking veiled woman was not going to be intimidated with a woman on her clutches, with her 2 children and a petrified shaggy dog, and slowly as audience, we would uncover the mystique behind this unwelcomed visitor. It would be hard for Ramona to seek help as the phone line was down, her mobile was juiced out, and she was not capable to drive with her injury, but when her son Tyler wanted to hop on the jeep, the vehicle seems to be running out of fuel as well. Therefore, in this one location horror setting, as the characters did not go beyond the titular yacht, and the characters would be battling within themselves on the unpredictability of this specific woman and pondering on what was her motives. The scares were subtle and can mess with your minds like what the characters in the movie would have experienced. The specific sequence with Tyler trying to drive off in the jeep, with the tension rising into a boiling point as the scene was juxtaposing between the stillness of the woman in the yard and Tyler's attempt to make it to the jeep, and then in the blink of the eye, the woman would disappear when the vision of our protagonist had been blocked. The other notable spook on screen would be when the woman successfully infiltrated into the house and havoc she would create with mere shadows from natural lighting. Other than that, the woman in the yard, built on the back of the reputation of Blumhouse production and a studio horror production distributed by Universal Pictures, was a small-scaled horror feature that played on the fact that people wallowing in misery from the world today, especially the racial profiling of our main characters. The ending scene might reveal some swerve with regards to all these manifestations and to Ramona's reality as well, which could be something interesting to ponder upon. In this bleak Trumpian world when inflation was rampant, and when you lost your pillar of strength and the breadwinner of the house, who built this farmhouse on his own conviction, the widowed mother, who likely to be forgotten by the society, would be driven to the wall and depression starting to seep in and manifest in the scariest fashion. Written by Sam Stefanek, this was a script that would be heartfelt and effortless for audience to sympathize with the ordeals the characters had gone through. But it was an uphill task for the filmmakers in terms of execution to create a horror feature that would grab your attention for the whole 80-odd minutes runtime. In terms of the plot and characters' dynamics, I had watched Lee Daniels' The Deliverance last year, which was convenient for me to compare with this movie, and that movie was a much memorable affair as an exercise of the human misery compounded by supernatural disturbances. It would be natural for me to pit the performance of Danielle Deadwyler as the mother Ramona against the classy Andra Day from The Deliverance. Deadwyler, who gained traction for her role in the dystopian HBO miniseries Station 11 and featured in 2024's indie horror I Saw the TV Glow, gave her best to orchestrate her emotional turmoil about losing a partner and gradually losing hope. Her stern discipline with her children was not something I would nitpick, being a parent myself, but I could feel the dreariness having to correct the children when you are embedded in the immense doldrums in your life, which being an adult, you usually have to keep it to yourself. Her performance in the climactic showdown was instrumental on how you will endear this movie coming out of it. Deadwyler might have given her all, yet it was still hard to compare on what we had seen in The Deliverance. Artist-actress Okwe Okpo-Kwasili played the role of the antagonistic woman in the yard. Her commanding and slender stature definitely reminded me a lot of Grace Jones, but she possessed the demeanor of Tony Todd's Candyman. Okpo-Kwasili, a renowned dance choreographer, played the voodoo doctor Bihibe in The Exorcist Believer and was a prominent member of Salem 7 named Vertigo in Marvel's Agatha all along. Together with the woman here, made use of her elegant stature and physical endowment. If you have been following Liam Neeson's tough man action movies since Taken, You will not forget classics like Unknown, Non-Stop, and The Commuter. These movies were all directed by Spanish-American director Juame Collet-Serra, who helmed The Woman in the Yacht and was a bona fide Hollywood director who for a while became a pensioned director to collaborate with Dwayne Johnson in his blockbusters like Jungle Cruise and Black Adam. Collet-Serra started his filmmaking career in the horror genre in 2005's House of Wax with Paris Hilton. He then made the cult classic Orphaned in 2009. His most recent horror feature would be the shark survivor flick with Blake Lively in 2016's The Shallows. So director Collet-Serra had the know-how to create a memorable horror set piece, which was evident here, but it was few and far between for him to play around with. The Woman in the Yacht might actually work as a standalone episode in a horror anthology TV series. The inadequacy of the story building became apparent as we dredged through the second act. There were some decent scares, but might not be sufficient to saturate most horror fans. This is a middle of the road 6 out of 10 for me. As I was writing this review, another horror feature with the African American context, called Sinners, is rousing with good responses and reviews from critics and cinema goers. It really elevated my anticipation for that movie. To hear what I have to say about the movie Sinners soon, please subscribe to KK's Horror Heretics. Please like and share this video as well, much appreciated. Do you want to hear what I have to say about the first 4 Troublesome Nights movies, all directed by Herman Yao? Do click the insert video link on screen now. Lucky for us peasants in Singapore, we will not have the same problem faced by Ramona and her children, as none of us have a yacht to begin with.